You ever hear a story and feel like something's off even before you know the details? Because in Joss 2022, a young girl named Jennifer Anthony went missing. And at first it sounded like one of those situations people think will sort itself out. Maybe she'll come back. Maybe there's an explanation. But think about it this way. What if the truth isn't just sad? What if it quietly shakes how you see people around you? Here is what I mean. This wasn't just about one person disappearing. It became a moment where a whole community had to confront questions they weren't ready for. Trust, silence, the things we overlook, and the uncomfortable part. Some signs were there. People just didn't know what they were looking at. Before we continue, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Okay, let's proceed. Before we move on, let's just pause for a second and be clear about what we're getting into. This is the story of Jennifer Anthony in Joss in 2022. Not a rumour, not something pulled out of thin air. A real case that affected real people in a real community. And I know how these videos can feel sometimes. They can start to blur together. Names, places, timelines. But this one, it shouldn't be treated like that. Here is what I mean. When you hear case, it's easy to detach, to think of it like a story. But this wasn't a story to the people who lived through it. It was their everyday life, suddenly disrupted. So let's set the tone properly. This video is created for educational and documentary purposes. We're focusing on what is known, what was reported, and what can be understood from it. No exaggeration, no unnecessary details, just a careful, respectful telling. Some moments might sit heavy. That's real. But we're not here to sensationalize anything. We're here to understand and to remember. Okay. Let's slow this down for a second. Because before anything else, there was a life. Jennifer Anthony wasn't a headline. She was a little girl in Joss in 2022, just living the kind of life most people don't even think twice about. And I get it. It's easy to skip past that part. But don't. This is the part that actually matters. She was young, still in that stage where your world is small but full. School, home, familiar streets, familiar faces. The kind of life where your day might be about simple things. Getting ready in the morning, being told to hurry up, maybe laughing with friends over something silly that won't matter tomorrow. Think about it this way. Her life wasn't dramatic, and that's exactly why it hits harder. From what we know, Jennifer was part of a close environment, family around, people who knew her. The kind of setup where you assume there's safety, or at least some level of it. You know how it is in places like Joss. Neighbours recognise you, people greet you by name. There's a sense that someone is always watching out, even if just a little. But here is what I mean. Familiarity can sometimes make people relax their guard. Her routine was simple, predictable. The kind of routine that makes people say, "She'll be fine." Going out and coming back. Being around people who didn't feel like strangers. Nothing about it screamed danger. And she had a future, even if it wasn't fully formed yet. Kids don't always have clear plans, but they have direction. School, growing up, becoming something. There's always that quiet expectation that life will keep unfolding, one normal day at a time. That's what makes this different from the way people usually tell these stories. Because before anything went wrong, nothing looked wrong. No loud warning, no obvious red flag that everyone could point to and say, that was it. Just an ordinary life moving forward. Calm, familiar, almost forgettable. And I'll be honest with you, that's the part that stays with me. Not just what happened later, but the fact that before all of it, Jennifer was just living, quietly, normally, like so many others. And no one around her would have guessed how quickly that normal could disappear. According to reports, this was in 2020 in Jos, Nigeria. A normal day, Or at least it looked that way from the outside. Daytime fading into evening, the kind of transition most people don't even notice. Jennifer had plans that were simple, nothing unusual, just the kind of routine that blends into every other day. Think about it this way. It was supposed to be one of those in and out moments. Go somewhere familiar, return home, continue life as usual. That was the expectation. Later that evening, though, something didn't line up. The timing felt off. The return that was assumed didn't happen the way it should have. And here is what I mean. No one starts the day thinking, this is the moment everything changes. It always begins quietly, a small shift, a delay, something easy to explain, until it isn't. That's where we are in the timeline, right at the edge of normal, just before it slips. On that very day, everything seemed normal. A new year was just beginning. People were celebrating, making plans, stepping into 2022 with hope. But according to reports, that same day would quietly turn into the beginning of a tragedy. Jennifer Anthony, a 300-level student of the University of Jos, had last been seen on December 31st, 2021. It was New Year's Eve, a time when most students were out, relaxing, spending time with friends, or simply marking the end of the year. And at first, nothing felt unusual. But then, she stopped responding. Calls didn't go through. Messages were left unanswered. Friends began to worry. Family members grew uneasy. Hours turned into silence. And silence slowly turned into fear. According to reports, she had plans to meet someone that day. Someone she knew. Someone she trusted. Then, the next day, January 1st, 2022, everything changed. Her body was discovered in a hotel room along Zaria Road in Jos. Authorities say a violent crime had occurred inside the room. That single discovery sent shockwaves through the university community and far beyond it. According to investigators, Jennifer had been lured to the location under the pretense of a meeting. What was supposed to be a normal outing turned into something else entirely. Police reports indicate that the individual believed to be responsible left the scene shortly after the incident. Efforts appeared to have been made to avoid identification, which immediately raised suspicion. As investigators examined the scene, they began piecing together the final hours leading up to her death. Each detail, slow, careful, and deliberate. And then, the case took an even more disturbing turn. According to official statements, parts of her body were missing. That revelation deepened concerns about the possible motive behind the crime and intensified public reaction. People were no longer just asking what happened, they were asking why. The case quickly gained national attention. Students, residents, and many across Nigeria began to follow the story closely. Conversations filled campuses. Social media was flooded with reactions: anger, fear, disbelief. Not long after, authorities identified a suspect. According to reports, a 20-year-old man named Moses Oko, believed to have had a personal connection with Jennifer, was linked to the case. He had fled Jos, but he didn't stay hidden for long. Police tracked him down to Benue State, where he was eventually arrested. His capture marked a major step in the investigation, but it didn't bring closure. Not yet. Because questions still remained. In February 2022, the case moved to court. According to court proceedings, prosecutors stated that Jennifer had been invited out under the guise of celebrating the new year, a meeting that, on the surface, seemed harmless. But the defense pushed back. The suspect pleaded not guilty. And just like that, the legal battle began. Witness accounts, evidence, timelines, everything started to unfold piece by piece inside the courtroom. Outside the courtroom, though, the impact was already clear. This wasn't just another case. It became a moment of reflection, a wake-up call for many. Conversations about trust, safety, and vulnerability grew louder, especially among young people. Because the truth is, This didn't happen in isolation. It happened in a familiar place, between people who knew each other, in circumstances that didn't initially raise alarm. And that's what made it even more unsettling. A young woman went out on New Year's Eve and never made it back. According to reports, what happened in that hotel room changed everything. And while the legal process continues to seek answers, one reality remains undeniable. A life was lost. A family was left grieving. And a story that began like any other day ended in a way no one expected. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, share and subscribe.